What is going on, folks? We are back live again to recap this final. Quite honestly, I thought today was awesome. I thought today was awesome. There's a few things that they left out on the field, of course. Wow, I already got one view. That's actually awesome. Shout out to you for being right on time. But yeah, so overall, good game, physical game. Still left what I thought on two drives, TDs on the board. So really, in my opinion, and I'm sure in a lot of y'all's opinions too, instead of this really being a 30-16 final, this should have been more so of a 44-16 beatdown, in my opinion. So I feel like we kind of let Southern off the hook a little bit, but I mean, that's probably just me looking for the perfection and still chasing the perfection that I think we all know that this team can attain. But overall, win is a win. Something interesting that Jay Walker said stood out to me tonight. I'm going to discuss it after the intro rolls. Also, well, a couple things actually, and then plus the brilliant play calling of Willie Simmons and Coach Chili Davis in the first half, actually, plus the indisciplinary play by Southern that has greatly come to light here. It came to light today, and it's built up over the past few weeks if you've actually followed their antics on social media and whatnot. But overall, we're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about the stats and stuff too. Quick score update before we do roll the intro, though. So at the moment right now, Florida State is destroying Miami 31-3. Clemson is trailing Notre Dame 21-0. James Madison, the new kids on the block in the FBS, down by 10 to Louisville. Wake Forest trails NC State. Another surprise, too, actually, from today. Well, here's the other one that's not a surprise first. Bethune loses homecoming 37-22 to Alabama State. NC Central proven to be a threat in the MEAC, 50-21 over Howard today, which was also very impressive. Currently, I think JSU is handling business against Texas Southern. But, yeah, and then also, too, Alabama's losing. So that's actually quite a shock, too. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and roll this intro. So don't go anywhere, and then we'll be right back. Let's go. All right, so first things first, and also too, yeah, make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this as well too. So yeah, be sure to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So without further ado, let's go right into it. So the first things first, the thing that stood out to me that what Jay Walker said early in the game, or not early in the game, but late in the game, was the fact that hosting the FCS playoffs, if we do get in and we continue to handle business like we should, and quite honestly, the fact that this game should have been won by a greater margin than it was. He said something interesting, such as, put the money up to host this game. I think he was saying the last team to really do it was Hampton. I want to say back in the early 2000s, and no HBCU has hosted an FCS playoff game since. And quite honestly, I think, let's call a spade, it probably did catch us all by surprise, the fact that FAMU got in and they didn't have to travel as far as they did last year. So as much as we can't stand him, and I know I can't stand him because I would love to sit in a booth with him for 3 hours and take him to town. But I do kind of got to agree with him on a couple things, and the main one is the fact of the matter is that yes, Ken Riley needs to go in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and two, hosting an FCS playoff game as an HBCU would probably be pretty beneficial. It would save a lot of us money and hassle because I can guarantee for a lot of us going from Orlando after the Classic to some far off backwood place in Louisiana is a lot harder than just taking the easy route and going from Orlando, having Thanksgiving on Thursday, traveling to Tallahassee on Saturday or on Friday or Saturday. So he makes a good point. He makes a very good case. I have to agree with him there. Now, the other thing too, as far as the play calling tonight, which I thought was awesome early on, it's fantastic. The genius play call by Willie Simmons and special teams coordinator Chili Davis. The fake punt, or not the fake punt, the fake field goal that where they basically switched the formation, lined up Chris Fadul at quarterback, lined up Jose Roman Martinez at running back, got Southern to jump off sides in the red zone, got a first down out of that. Pure genius. And then came back, had a set of plays ready to roll out with after that to get a touchdown. That's genius. I recall specifically criticizing this offense and this special teams unit because they didn't have a set of plays ready to roll out after a fake punt against Mississippi Valley. They harped on the details tonight, and they did the right thing. Genius. Absolutely genius. And then also the undisciplinary play by Southern, too, if you hadn't noticed. So I hate to harp on negativity about somebody, but if you look at the track record, a fight at Prairie View, stupid video that you put out about Dion's children and players at Southern where you're actually claiming you're trying to hurt them. Strike two. And then you come out, you get dumb penalties that cost you key moments in this game tonight, which is the reason why Southern fell behind. Coach Dooley has his work cut out for him at Southern. Oh, we got a comment. Great observation, JP. Thank you. Appreciate it. Ooh, what's up, dude? Florida Memorial. What's up? But yeah, it's pure genius by play calling, but also too back to the the undisciplinary play of Southern. Our game was lit. Yeah, it was. It was awesome. Honestly, I wish I could have been there. I really wish I could have been there. It would have been nice to have gotten to see Southern again. But I think the one thing that Willie Simmons did mention in his Monday coaches show that he does on Facebook Live is that much like Florida and LSU, how they are intertwined SEC rivals from the SEC East and the West, FAMU is the same way with Southern in the SWAC West and the SWAC East. So FAMU and Southern will be playing continuously. So hopefully 2024, I'm able to make it back to Tallahassee for that game to see it. But as far as the undisciplined play by Southern, if there's one key series of plays that stood out to me. If you look at it was with 3 minutes and 19 seconds left to go in the first. I know this because I wrote it down. You had a 3rd and 11 by FAMU. You jumped off sides. Okay, play goes to now 3rd and 6. You jump off sides again. You cost this team some more yards. And now Southern's stuck at a 3rd and 1. FAMU converts it. It's little things that keep teams in games. Southern is not true. Yeah. Southern is not a all the way there team. And then now too, for their sake, Prairie View still sits pretty in the SWAC. So if we actually look at the SWAC standings, let's see, SWAC football standings. So yeah, if we look at the SWAC football standings as it stands right now, although Prairie View lost an overtime game on last night to Alcorn State, they still sit in first because Southern lost yet another game tonight. Southern had a chance to take control, but the undisciplined play dooms them again. So now I think, honestly, Prairie View continues to control what they can control. They'll be representing the SWAC West. Now, also, too, I don't know if y'all noticed as well, the two TD passes that Musa had tonight, or the two that stood out the most out of the three, those are plays that were run before that Southern just wasn't able to memorize off of film. And again, undisciplinary play by Southern. If you look at it, Moose's TD pass to AJ Davis, gee, that play looks familiar. Where was that play run? Oh, yeah, that's right. The first TD pass of the game against UNC. Don't believe me? Go look it up. Only thing is UNC played it a lot better because they had someone covering AJ Davis out of the backfield. And then once again, so yeah, no, they are. And that's a testament to Coach Fred McNair because he harps on the little things and the attention to detail. And again, you have teams out there like Southern who don't harp on the little things in the details. You have teams like Alabama A&M who don't harp on the little things in the details, which is why Alabama A&M lost to Mississippi Valley on Thursday night. So, yeah, you're absolutely correct. But yeah, and even once again, the play. Yes, that play was run. Yeah, exactly. It was. And then even the play to Xavier Smith today for the first touchdown, that was run for the very first touchdown against Pine Bluff the week prior. So who from Southern didn't really study the film? I'm just saying, because you should be able to sniff that out. And it's like Jay Walker said too. Why is the backup safety covering the wide receiver number one? It's not looking good. It's not a good look. But again, give Coach Dooley his time. Hopefully he gets this turned around. Like I said earlier, I think teams take on the mantra of their head coach. But I think Coach Dooley is trying to get that thing turned around for Southern. And in due time, we will see. So Willie gives you so much to think about. He does. He really does, because he can present with so many different looks. Like, honestly, I did not think that we'd see a quarterback from Willie Simmons that would run the ball. I would have never expected to see Willie Simmons bust out an option play early in the season, which we haven't seen since. So at some point, again, we're probably going to see it again. So, and then honestly, here's another thing Jay Walker said that I got to give him his credit for. If you look at Willie Simmons in his time when he was brand new to coaching at the OC position at Alcorn, or even being a head coach at Prairie View, he was very pass happy. It would be pass. Now, thankfully, we have him now that he's a more seasoned and experienced guy. He emphasizes the run more. And we didn't get the 100-yard rusher tonight, of course, but Southern is aware that we have bruising backs that can take it the distance. And we have a combination of all thunder, or we have a combination of thunder and lightning. So, yeah. Got to go. We're loading up our bus to leave. All good, man. Safe travels back to wherever your destination is, though. Safe travels by all means. Oh my goodness. Okay, score update. Notre Dame is up 28-0 on Clemson. Wow. Okay. Alabama's up 15-14 on LSU. I need to change that on the ticker. But wow. Yeah. Wait. Okay, we got another comment. ALR. I don't know what ALR is. I'm not sure what ALR is. Just, comment, clarify that for me. But also, so while he clarifies that, if he wants to. So Xavier Smith came into the game today with 100. We still need more pre-snap movement on offense that will expand the offense's potential. Yes, yes, and once again, oh my goodness, my bad. I'm looking at the Alabama LSU game at the same time, guys. I'm sorry, but I will say this is true, but at the same time too, and again, geez, I can't. I'm giving Jay Walker way more credit than I think I would have thought I would have given him at this point right now. But Jay Walker did say when he sat down with Willie Simmons, Willie Simmons mentioned to him, the playbook is not fully, it's still being like learned by Jeremy Musa as we go along through the season. And I think a lot of us, and even I'm guilty of it too, we jump to conclusions with Musa thinking, oh my gosh, he's the Godson, he's the savior, he's going to be the one that's going to slay Jackson State for us. But little did we know he was still learning the motions as we went along throughout the season. And it's shown in bits and pieces here. Now, I think did Musa play a great game tonight? Yeah, he did. But he's still learning the playbook. Yeah, he did. He looked good tonight. He did. He, from what I've heard on the broadcast tonight, Willie Simmons is expecting to see more of that, killer instinct and drive out of Musa next season that Ryan Stanley had. So we'll see. Okay. I'm still very encouraged by this team. They didn't quite have that killer instinct that last year's team did, but they are young, so that looks really good for the next year. Yeah, no, exactly. And a little bit of it is the fact that you still have guys out with season-ending injuries. So, key example, Brian Crawford, who is your starting center, who got hurt in the UNC game, he's out. So you miss an experienced pre-snap read right there with your center. So you're down him. So now you got to throw in TJ Demis, who's the CCC true freshman. So there's some good and some bad. They're going to go through their growing pains because some of these linemen are young, but the results for the future are beneficial. So there is good and bad. Tonight he showed why he was picked as a start. Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. 224 yards, 17 of 34. The completions versus attempts could be better, of course, but 3 TDs. He took care of the football tonight. He was good tonight. The passes that weren't there, he threw it away or he threw it into the dirt where nobody could get it. So it's still a work in progress, of course. Like Willie Simmons has more than likely told a lot of us, but yeah, to get better. I mean, sometimes Musa can be a little lackadaisical when we get a lead, but tonight he missed calls. Refs were Britain some extra points. They did. They absolutely did. And they prevented some extra points on homecoming too. Like I said, I think homecoming should have been a 38-0 shutout. Musa doesn't step into his throws. Going down the middle to the tight end, he fired me. Yeah, see, and again, like that's some of those little things that Willie Simmons is trying to coach out of him. And you got to remember, and I think this is where finding a QB coach for the offseason is going to be very high on the priority list. Because I think if there was someone like a coach KJ Black still around, it would have been beneficial to him to get this playbook down faster, someone that's going to spend that extra time with him. So we don't have a true QB coach. Well, we have one in Willie Simmons, but we don't also have another mind to help guide him as a QB like we had with Coach Black. I'll take the win. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'll take the win too. I definitely will. The vibe seems different coming out of the bye week, going towards the finish line now. I was kind of worried because the team that we've seen these past 2 weeks versus the team that we saw before that bye week, night and day. This looks like a team that wants to fight to get to the finish line and get in the FCS playoffs. And hopefully, if we're fortunate enough, and if we put our money where our mouths are, we host, like Jay Walker was mentioning. Hopefully. Oh, and also to mention as well, Xavier Smith came into tonight He needed 297 yards. So let's see, 703 plus 100, 803. So 803 minus 100 or 1 minus 1,000. He's 190. He's 197 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. Is Xavier Smith after a six reception, 100-yard game with 1 TD, 197 yards. Yeah, he's gonna crush that. I'd love that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think we all would. And then the possibility of who do you play if you get in. I don't want to jump the gun and get ahead of schedule here, but it's going to put the money up thing to hope. Yeah, so I was actually I had this discussion on Twitter with the guy from FCS Radio. I think that's his name on Twitter. Not sure. So he was saying that the people that bid the highest, and yes, Mercer would probably be the team that they would end up playing. But yeah, so the teams that end up bidding the most money end up typically being the teams that get to host in the FCS playoffs. So if FAMU can potentially, so say FAMU's already like preset and the bracket's already set, either you go into Tallahassee or like Kylan had said in the comment section, either you're going to Mercer. So you have the choice. Either Mercer's going to put the money up in order to host, and so that means the game's going to be played in Macon, or FAMU puts the money up and the game is in Tallahassee. So it can go either way in that case, but the highest bidder will get the home game. So, and I think someone on Facebook was actually trying to like say like, we need to try to like fight to host this game. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I think honestly, like if we can outbid, say, Mercer for that home playoff spot, it's our home game. It's not in Mercer. Or say we get matched up with Samford in the first round. It can, and yes, you're right. It can go either way. It can. But this is why, you got to spend money to make money. And it would be nice, honestly. I think Florida State doesn't play Florida that day either on a Saturday. Florida State and Florida play on Black Friday, so they play Friday night. So Tallahassee's all yours for the FCS playoffs, and it could possibly be a night game. So, yeah, that's what I mean by put the money up. You got to outbid who you're going to play, or you got to outbid the highest bidder, especially if you end up finishing the season ranked. But I think it does – you owe it to the fan base. You owe it to everybody else. Plus, your record at home speaks for itself. If the game is regional, that's like a home game for us. That's true. That is true. But at the same time, would you rather just play in Tallahassee, or would you rather travel off to, backwood Louisiana to play Southeast Louisiana again, or would you rather like go to Macon or wherever Samford is, or would you rather just go back to home base in Tallahassee? Because I'd rather go back to home base in Tallahassee, but that's just me. And that's what I'm getting at. But also, so yeah, this rushing attack, not quite the 100-yard performance that we thought they'd get again, but they did the deed. You had to account for it. BJ Bowler came up huge, recovering that fumble. Winston Frazier, home base. Yeah. Exactly. I would too. I know my surroundings. I get to wake up in that same bed that I've woken up in for that entire duration of practicing that week. You want to be in familiar territory. Also too, but yeah, one thing I will say is defensively for this secondary, Winston Frazier and Courtney Cox are becoming quite the duo together. If you haven't caught on yet and noticed, because Courtney Cox, who's not a senior and will be back next year, has been busting heads and playing the ball well. I know he dropped an interception tonight, which is one of the key plays where this game could have really gotten out of hand. But at the same time, too, on the other side, Winston Frazier, who forced a fumble tonight, which led to this game getting out of hand for Southern. Both those guys are becoming key playmakers. Plus the fact, too, you're going to have Kendall Bowler back next year. That secondary is going to still have a lot of experience in it. And those guys are still young. I think Kendall Bowler is a junior. I think he'll be the oldest one out of the three. So things are looking up. True. Yeah. Florida Memorial, you're right. But yeah, things are looking up coming towards the end of this season. And this is what you like to see. You want to be able to see guys that can contribute late in the year to show off the quality depth that you have, but you also want to be sure that that depth is maturing as the season progresses to where it's able to step in right away for next season and keep the trend rolling. Plus, not to mention, we also, Zaire Riley, I believe, has already been redshirted. So that's another guy. Secondary play was great tonight. Call me crazy, but I don't think 11 is our best DB. I will say he's been worked more so into the slot, I feel like, over the past few weeks. Because I think teams are starting to catch on to the height disadvantage. He's still been a playmaker. He's still been a huge key playmaker for this defense. And he's a voice on this defense, but I think they for the betterment of the team, I think that he is stepping into a different role, sort of say, to play that slot and cover slot guys. So that way you have taller guys like Courtney Cox and Winston Frazier who can play on the outside and make plays. And even Kendall Bowler, who's being rotated into that group of defensive backs that play on the outside. So, yeah, I mean, look, that's the definition of a true key player or of a team player that, he's doing it so that way his team can get wins. And that's what you ask for. And it's a testament, again, to what Willie Simmons is preaching. You'd still like to see a little bit more of a killer instinct. But overall, like I said, I'll take it. We're getting better as the weeks progress. I'm excited to see what we're going to bring when we go to Montgomery next week, because that's not going to be an easy trip. The beautiful thing is the March 100's going. So those that asked 3 weeks ago, those that asked 3 weeks ago if the 100 was going to go to Montgomery, and I said in my own thought process, I was thinking, I don't know if they're going to go because you're going to have to prepare for two performances, Battle of the Bands on Friday night and then the actual halftime show in the Classic. But rumor is they're going to Montgomery, so the 100 will be there. So it's going to potentially feel like a home game because I think that game is already almost sold out. Oh, yeah, no, they're not ready at all. Like I said, I think that game's already almost sold out, to be honest with you, which is awesome. By the way, too, if you haven't bought Florida Classic tickets, you may want to go do that now because the FAMU side's almost sold out. Well, actually, the FAMU side is basically sold out. I think end zone seats are what's left, but there's a lot of other seats on the Bethune side. I'm at this point, I don't think a lot of Bethune folks are going to show up to Orlando. Yeah, the 100 has a lot to do. Yeah, they do. They do. I give much credit to them, the fact that they are going to Montgomery. Because I quite honestly had no faith that I thought they would. So, yeah, kudos to them. But yeah, I think we covered every single bit of bases tonight. This was awesome. Love the comments, love the interaction. Jose Romo Martinez, 3 of 3 on field goals tonight, 3 of 3 on extra point attempts. Chris Fadul, 135 net punt yards, 2 of them downed inside the 20. His longest punt was 49 yards. I will say now, if Chris Fadul doesn't get drafted, we riot because the other Southern team showed up gladly. Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, look, to be fair, fix your shirt. Look like a hobo, JP. You know what? It's not enough that you always mock me because of my old age. But now you gotta talk about my clothing. I might just wear a sweatshirt This is why I wear sweatshirts, because he talks about me, America. You'll see him talk about me on Wednesday night. Our punter's an NFL punter. He is. He absolutely is. Quite honestly, he reminds me of the punter for the Bucks who hit Jerry Jones's video board at the beginning of the season. Should have worn a TC shirt. Oh gosh, I cannot with you. Oh my goodness. But back to your point, Ace. You are correct. The other Southern team showed up gladly. But I will say, to begin the game off, I kind of figured, I was like, this is going to be a physical little shootout here that we may have on our hands. No, not Brian Nanger, the one they punted for Georgia. He reminds me of him from last season. Jake Camp. Oh my gosh, what's that kid's name? Camdera? I believe it's Jake Camdera he reminds me of. That's who Fedor reminds me of. Jake Camarda. Yeah, that's who it is. Yep, Jake Camarda. That's who Chris Fedor reminds me of. But I think someone's going to get a quality punter. If Al Davis was still alive, someone who's daring to draft punters and specialists like early in the first 3 rounds, I'd say Chris Fedor would definitely be a Raider. Yeah. Jake Camarda. That's who he reminds me of. But yeah. And then more so to the fact too, I think Chris Fedor, after what I've seen tonight and throughout the duration of the season, deserves a Senior Bowl invite. I think Isaiah Land deserves a Senior Bowl invite. Xavier Smith definitely deserves one, especially if he leaves FAMU with 2,000-yard seasons. He deserves a Senior Bowl invite, and I think despite his size, he gets drafted. So is it still the worst 9-2 team, or have they improved? You know what? Coming out of the bye week, I can say over the past 2 weeks, I will retract my statement of this being the worst 9-2 team, because it seemed like before the bye week they were just trying to find ways to stay afloat. But now you come out of the bye week, and now you look like you're trying to fight for something, like you're trying to get somewhere, like you want to be in the FCS playoffs. Obviously, they deserve Senior Bowl invite. Oh yeah, they do, exactly. And for those of you that do not watch the Running Gun podcast on Wednesday night, the key thing that Ace is always saying, and he said it last year before the NFL draft, the guys that get invited to the Reese Senior Bowl, they tend to usually end up getting drafted, whether they're HBCU prospects or not. Hence why Joshua Williams and the kid from Southern, the offensive tackle from Southern, both ended up getting drafted by the Chiefs and the Bears. So listen to him. He's right there in the comments, but he's got points. He's very correct. Just getting in, probably already mentioned, but one time for BJ Bowler and AT&T. Yeah, absolutely. That was actually interesting. I just saw that commercial today. That was interesting. Then he had a great game tonight. He recovered a fumble. Like the stream. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. This isn't the only show that's on this page. Y'all tune in Tuesday nights to the Last Give podcast with this guy right here. That's in the comment section. Ace right here. I believe Jacoby Durant got an invite. I think he did. Yes, I think he did. But yeah, another prime example of an HBCU prospect that got invited to the Senior Bowl that's making a name for himself. So yeah, I think a lot of the guys that you saw on the field tonight deserve those types of invites come season's end, because they've earned it. They've absolutely earned it. But what else do we got for y'all? So yeah. Yeah, I've run out of things for tonight, quite honestly. Overall, good win. Defense played well. Actually, as far as the defense goes, I thought I ran out of stuff to talk about, but I didn't. As far as the defense goes, Bayshawn McCray, who is not a good thrower of the football, 8 of 20, 88 yards tonight, 1 interception. Felt like he threw more. And then you had Cornelius Dyson, who's the leading receiver tonight, 2 receptions, 40 yards. Get some sleep. Oh, you know what? How about you go get some sleep? It's past your bedtime. But oh my god, see, now you made me lose my train of thought. Way to go. Y'all see what I deal with on Wednesday nights? Y'all see what I deal with? This is what I deal with. Nah, see, here he goes. Here he goes. I don't know, Ace. You tell me. Should I go take my medicine too tonight? But overall, yeah, great showing by the defense tonight. Brayshon McCray had 125 yards rushing, 1 TD on 16 carries. I will say, we got to find a way to start spying QBs. We got to do a better job of it because the kid from Grambling, he was able to run well on us. Brayshon McCray was able to run well on us. That's going to be an interesting Bayou Classic matchup, though. Thoughts on the run game? As far as the run game goes, I mean, it didn't live up to par like it did last week, but Southern had to account for it because FAMU ran the ball so well. So it's something you can't take for granted anymore. You have to watch for it now, and you have to respect it. Which, like I said in the pregame, it opens up opportunities for play action pass, and it creates more opportunities for you. Yeah, but yeah, that's basically it right there. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, so for next week, FAMU's going to march into Montgomery at 7-2, 5-1 in the conference. FCS playoff spot still alive. Last time I checked, I think FAMU was receiving 7 votes in the FCS coaches poll for a shot at the FCS playoffs. Let's talk about how the 100 supports their football team with how much stuff the 100 does just to get their football games with all the stuff they have to do and put all the stuff they have to do. Yeah, no, that's true. They work endless hours, and it's not easy. So, and then plus shout out to the people that supply them with food, people that supply them to keep them hydrated and everything such as that. It's not easy to wear that heavy of clothing week to week to week, carry an instrument and perform. That's not easy. I give a lot of credit to what they do. I really do. And I say that as someone that's been watching that band all my life. They've earned every bit of their flowers. FAMU probably could beat USF this year. Yeah, you know what? I said it last year. I tried to tell you last year they could have beat them. But it was little things that held FAMU back from closing that game out. This year, as bad as Jeff Scott's team is, I think that FAMU could beat USF. There's a lot of teams. I'll say it like this. If USF was in the SWAC, USF wouldn't win the SWAC. That's how bad I think USF is. And I don't see Jeff Scott being on the sideline next year when FAMU comes back to Tampa. I do not. Yeah, so by the way, spoiler alert, FAMU plays USF next year on September 9th. In case all 9 of you didn't know, and those of you that are watching didn't know. So yeah, I don't think Jeff Scott will be on the sideline next year when FAMU and USF play. Just a little heads up. Instead, it might be Scott Frost. But Willie Simmons will definitely be there. FAMU and Howard account for 2 of the 4 games that Jeff Scott has won. Interesting. That's very true. And that tells you how pitiful of a program USF is. Because, yeah, that program's in a dumpster. That program's terrible. But, folks, this has been awesome tonight. Very active comment section. I've enjoyed it so much. I hope you guys have enjoyed the setup and everything. As you know, so far, we're only guaranteed 2 more of these as of now. Hopefully Selection Sunday comes and the good Lord rains down on us news of great joy. But as for now, folks, we'll be back next week, of course, for FAMU and Alabama State. We hope you've enjoyed this as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. I hope you've enjoyed Ace's antics right there in the comment section. Don't forget Tuesday night, Last Give podcast. Ace and Flash will be live talking about a lot of things. Of course, the news around college football that happened this weekend, primarily Georgia and Tennessee. Wednesday night, we'll come back, put this one to bed a little bit more, me and Ace. He'll probably make some old jokes and stuff. Don't you start with me about what antics? Don't you start? But yeah, we'll put this FAMU Southern game to bed. We'll give you a little bit of a sneak preview of FAMU and Alabama State. Hopefully FAMU at some point here in the next 2 weeks can crack the FCS top 25. That way we can start talking about, potential playoff spot. No, you capping right now. I love him so much. It's just so easy. He's so easily triggered. Just remember, Ace is more swag than any of us. I just want y'all to know that he's much more swag than any of us. He already told me he woke up motivated this morning. He ate his Wheaties. But yeah, as always, folks, y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. We will see you on Tuesday and Wednesday night, and then again next Saturday. So take care.